Okay, thank you so much, Mom Cecilia, for introducing our selected district supervisor, and it's our great privilege for us to have you, Ma'am Faye, for answering our requests, and you would be a great help for this particular task that we have from under Dr. Kaingkoy subject. So, ma'am, for our first questions, which is all about the approaches and models to curriculum development. So, as a district supervisor, so we have here the first one, what are the models of curriculum design that you want to integrate in each schools under your district?
Yes, all right. In the Department of Education, we always have with us our DepEd vision and mission. Okay, so with all the models, strategies that we are implementing in the school, of course, it has to be aligned to our DepEd vision and mission. And talking about this DepEd vision, it is clearly stated that it has to be learner-centered public institution. So before, it was actually a traditional practice that we have to focus into the subject centered curriculum, but and then also but this time, because of this DepEd vision that clearly stated that it has to be learner-centered public institution, meaning the curriculum, the purpose, and all the activities that you are going to do under the DepEd system, it has to be learner-centered. So this is actually the model that we are using nationwide. Okay, not only in my district, but it is actually nationwide, learner-centered. So we always have to look into the welfare and benefit of our learners. So talking about curriculum, when you implement curriculum, it has to be everything for the learners. Yan.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. So we guess for our second question, you already answered it that you emphasize more on a learner-centered curriculum, which is also applied in the higher education. And thank you so much for that sharing, ma'am. So another question, do you let each schools conduct annual curriculum mapping or strategic planning every year?
Yes, yes. Actually, that each school has their school improvement plan. They are making school improvement plan every 3 years. But then out from that school improvement plan crafted every 3 years, they have to have annual implementation plan crafted from that 3 years. So with that plan, of course, again, the learner-centered concept or principle has to be considered in the crafting of or in the planning of that SIP and AIP. So in the SIP and AIP, that has to go hand in hand because the AIP is actually from the SIP. So they have to make curriculum mapping, strategic planning, looking into the different issues and concerns of the school that they have to address for 3 years, and every year what are their focus in that year one, year two, and year three. So annual curriculum mapping and strategic planning is actually are actually happening every year in school with that SIP and AIP crafting and implementation, of course. And they even have review every year as to where they are on their school improvement plan, on the implementation of their school improvement plan, because that is actually their Bible in the school. So if where they are, so they have to look into the SIP, and for that particular year, they have to look into the annual implementation plan. So that's it.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing with us that kind of annual implementation plan. Aside from every 3 years, there is really a constant every year that the plan must be implemented. So, with that, ma'am, do you conduct or do you have some ways in evaluating and monitoring the progress of each school, especially upon implementing this learner centered curriculum for every year?
Yes, yes, yes. As I have said, of course, we have to look into the implementation of the SIP and AIP. And part of that, looking into the academic performance of the learners, not even the academic, but the totality of the school performance. We are looking into their performance through the result of their SMIA. This SMIA is a quarterly assessment of their performance. So the meaning of SMIA is school monitoring and evaluation adjustment. So that is quarterly. So it is in there that we can see the MPS of the learners, the GPS of the learners, um, what is that, the enrollment, whether the enrollment is increasing or not, or there are those who dropped out. So everything in the school is seen through this SMIA, the implementation or the assessment, or some quarterly evaluation through this SMIA, school monitoring and evaluation adjustment. So that is quarterly. If we can see something that we need to improve, because the term there is adjustment, so the next quarter it has to be adjusted so we can cope as to what is being targeted. So as to the question to what are the ways of evaluating and monitoring, it is where we have to look into the SMIA. And also we do some, not only with the data that they submitted, but we have to look into that we can see the learners um, in the actual scenario of how the teachers are doing their teaching learning process, and even the school head. Because me as the supervisor, my concern actually is not somehow the direct concern of being a supervisor is to look into the school head, and then the school head has to look into the teachers. So we to observe protocols, we don't directly go to the teachers. We have to talk, to check, and to see how the principal is going. Maybe they need some technical assistance from us. They have issues and concerns. It is where we have to come in. And then when during the conversation, during the visit, because we as I have said, we have to have school visit, not only looking into the data that they submitted, but we have to validate it whether it is true. There has to have validation actually, especially if it's just data being submitted. You have to validate. So how you are going to validate? You have to go into the actual scenario of the school. You have to visit the school, talk to the school head, look at the school environment. You even have to talk to the stakeholders. So you have to get an idea. If there are issues and concerns, then it's not only that you have to talk to one person or two persons, but you have to get some data, um, the triangulation that we need to have. You have to have FGD, focus group discussion, interview, as to the proper way of getting the solution of those issues and concerns being raised. So that's it. It's not only the data submitted, but you have that's a supervisor. Supervisor has to have school visit and talk to the personnel in the school and look at the real scenario. So that's it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We are so amazed on how you lead the following school heads, and especially there are a lot of things that you do. Now, we thought that the school heads are busy, but I guess the district supervisors are more busier than them, knowing that there are a lot of problems. Yeah, that
Yeah.
the supervisor must try to address too. So thank you so much, ma'am, for being fair,
Yeah.
having in your sharing. Okay, I guess Mom Cecilia would add some more questions. And I guess we learned a lot from the preliminary questions, Mom Cecilia.
Yes, I completely agree with you, Miss Joy. Dr. Fed, this is amazing because you're giving us like the behind the scene work of
Yeah,
uh,
that's true.
district supervisors. It's really heavy just listening to how you do your things, especially the triangulation, the focus group, and
Yeah.
consulting with stakeholders, department heads, and team. teachers, and even for the higher ups. So it really requires time management as well to cover that. May I ask how many schools are under your care, ma'am?
Yes, I have seven. Uh, there are two schools for secondary schools, and then five for school.
Wow. So for the entire year, you have to do that monitoring and management in one school year.
Yes, but I'm not really actually having hard time in the monitor for as long as you have harmonious relationship from among your people in your district. So it's not hard for me actually. Even though just a text away, they would immediately respond. So that's the secret of leadership. You have to have a very good relationship from among your people. Then everything will go smoothly. That's the secret.
I
I
think
hope you can also, yes, ma'am. I hope you can influence also the other district supervisors, ma'am, having that kind of character.
that is
Yes.
right.
I,
How long have you been in this position, Dr. Fed?
in this position, I was district in charge for 4 years and full-fledged district supervisor for almost 4 years. So I am about to be 8 years for this being a supervisor in the district. For being district in charge and now an item, a full-fledged public schools district supervisor.
So what you're giving us is the result of your 8 years plus personal experiences and
Yes, and that's the thing that I learned in being a supervisor, that for everything to go smoothly, have a very good relationship from among your people, then you will not encounter problem from among your people.
right. So could you walk us through a little bit more regarding your strategies in managing and monitoring, especially when you visit schools? I wonder how do teachers view your evaluation, especially when you visit them? So what are your strategies in doing so, and how do you handle maybe pressures coming in from the teachers or the and vice versa? Because I
Yeah.
believe, you know, it's not always welcoming for all teachers, especially for those in the classroom too. It's not easy.
Yes, actually, when talking about classroom observation, teachers have to be observed by the school head. And then me as a supervisor, we are told to also, we are even allowed, or we are even advised to get inside into the classroom, but it's not actually directly the teachers to be observed, but the school head, on how the school head will do his or her observation to the teachers, how the teacher will have to give technical assistance to the teacher, how the school head will assess the needs of the teacher. So that's the focus of the supervisor. It's not actually that the supervisor will have to what is that, evaluate the teacher, but I am going to evaluate the school head's way of observing the teacher. And it is in there that I have to coach, to make use of the coaching approach, and sometimes, of course, mentoring approach to the school head if there are something like there are needs to be coached or there are needs to be mentored, and anything that we can give, any technical assistance that we can provide to the school head. So our direct concern actually are the school heads. And then if the teachers, of course, will ask us for some inputs, of course, we will not close our door. We also have to give. But we will always have to respect that they have their school heads to do such. And then our concern is for the, of course, school head. That's it. So that's the protocol actually. And we are applying the clinical supervision approach in conducting the class observation. Uh, the school heads need to have this clinical supervision approach. What is this all about? This is not about, this is not that the school head will just immediately get inside to the classroom and observe the teacher. But the clinical supervision tells that there has to have pre-conference first that the school head and the teachers are going to talk about as to what's the focus of the school head when the school head has to do the observation. They have to have pre-conference muna before the proper classroom observation. Then after that is the post-conference. So that is the what the those are the components of how the clinical supervision is being done. So that's it. And I have noticed actually that though the school heads have the knowledge about this clinical supervision, but I have observed that they need to be reskilled or even upskilled as to the proper utilization of clinical supervision. How they are going to make an effective clinical supervision to the teacher, so that after the observation, of course, when it is effectively done, the clinical supervision, of course, there has to have quality output after the observation. So that's it. That's actually one of my interventions that I'm going to do because that's the initial findings that I have as of these days that they need to be reskilled, upskilled about clinical supervision. But again, the supervisor has to make focus to the school heads while the school heads are going to make focus to the teachers. So that's it.
That's really also interesting, especially your interventions.
Yeah.
So your direct concerns are really the school heads. So it's like
Yes.
leaders of the school, right? So from your
Yeah.
visit,
Yes.
your own the monitoring, what are the common issues that you encounter, and maybe the problems also that they bring up to you?
Yeah. Of course, before I have to visit to the school, I have to make you sure that I know what I'm going to do with the school, my target school. So first is that I have to look into the data that they submitted. I have to make analysis to the data, the SMIA. I always have to, not really that always, but most of the time, I have to look into the result of the SMIA, the one that I said, the school monitoring and evaluation adjustment data that I could get out from there. I have to look into the school as to which school has the lowest MPS in English, has the lowest MPS in mathematics, and so forth, and has the lowest or the most number of non-reader, because it is also because the what is that, the reading performance of the learners are also reflected in the SMIA. So a lot of things that I have to analyze first and do some data and then make some target school as to where I will go, and then there it is in there that we will have to discuss as to the analysis I made out from the data that's submitted in the SMIA. So if I could find, if I found out that that certain school is very low in mathematics, of course, that will be my focus. My focus during our conversation with the school head. And of course, after that, the school head will also have to do something to the concerned teacher. Like for example, school X, school X is very low in mathematics, grade 4, meaning they have lots of learners who failed in first quarter because we have just done with the first quarter, right? So they're already now starting for the second quarter. So they know already who are those fast learners, very slow learners the first quarter. And I also have the data. So they have to call the attention of the teachers. What happened to these learners? Why are there lots of failing grades of the learners in mathematics? So that's it. So I have to have focus on what am I going to do in that certain school. I will not be going to school without any data, without even monitoring tool to be with me. So I will be guided because I might be, I might not be effective with my visit if I don't have those something like tool or evidence or something that I can have to refer to. that it's actually the performance of the school that we need to address, and we need to make some solutions. So that's it. And what's the question again? The other one, how to address the teacher? Yes, teachers are always having their reasons. When you call the teachers, of course, the school heads, they also have reasons, and they also have to call the teachers. Teachers also have reasons. It is in there that coaching will come in. Coaching, the coaching approach will come in. So you don't prescribe, coaching. You don't prescribe. You will just keep on asking some powerful questions. So they will realize their own solution of the problems that we have. So that's the best approach actually that I am using sa school. I don't advise, I don't prescribe as a solution. I let them discover the solution of their problem. So that's the most effective approach actually. They will have to make their own discovery as to the solution of their problem that occur in their school. So I am just around to the school whenever they need me and give some technical assistance, but I don't prescribe. I don't tell them, you have to do this, you have to do that. They have to think as to what will be the best, and I will just guide them. That's
Sounds
it.
like your approach to them is a part of the mentoring principles. Instead of prescribing, telling them what to do,
Yeah,
it's more about mentoring, guiding them, facilitating to discover the solutions itself.
yes. Because I believe that coaching is actually different from mentoring, because mentoring, when you will use of mentoring, you prescribe, you have to give advice, you have to do this because being an experienced personnel to an inexperienced personnel, you have to give some inputs. But in coaching, I strategize through questioning that they will really discover the solution of their own solution of their own problem. So that's the most effective. At least they have ownership of the solution that they are doing. So I found that it's a very effective naman. And then the relationship that I'm protecting is still there, and it manifests in how they responded me actually. So still we have harmonious relationship with the coaching process that I am doing.
And you also mentioned about the SPA, right? It's part of your monitoring too. I'm
That,
just
that
curious. I'm just curious. How do you make sure that the reports submitted to you are the real ones? Like they're really.
yes, yes, that's it. That's the one that I said, that I have to validate the data that they submitted. So I have to visit the school if I found out that there's a need based on the data that they submitted. And then, the triangulation process. You have to validate the data. It's not just that you will have to rely on the data, the numbers that they submitted to you, but you really have to look into the real scenario of the school. So if they said they're 100% 100% achiever in that certain aspect. And then when you visit the school is really in need of some more improvement, meaning something's wrong with the data that they submitted. Then it is in there that you have to talk to the principal. But remember the conversation that you will have to have with the principal. Behind your mind, you have to be mindful that relationship will not be something like destroyed, or not destroyed. Uh, the principal will not be disappointed, will not feel something like discouraged, um, and angry with how you talk to the principal. So that is the you have to have that one in your mind, that your school head will accept, or will have to feel that there is really a need for the school to do something more for the issues and concerns identified. So, yeah, you don't have to be to advise. You have to just let the school head feel that there has to have something more to do to improve the performance of the school. So relationship matters, because if you will scold, if you will get angry, that is short term. That is short term. They will only follow you because of fear. Because of fear. because you are the superior, you are the supervisor. But later on, when you are no longer there in their school, they are no longer performing. But if you have very good relationship, that's long term. Even though you will not monitor, you will not go to their school, you can say that they are doing their best. So even though without some school visits, if they are inspired, they are motivated, and they are happy with their work, no fear, they followed you because they want you. It's not that they have to. That they have and want is actually two different things. They have to because they have no choice. Otherwise, they will receive insubordination paper or memorandum or what. So that's for fear. So I don't like that we'll reach to that point. So I have to make sure that they will feel that they want to follow me because they want to, not for fear, but it's really their own volition. It's their love because they are inspired. So that's it. That's my technique actually. So it's actually a relationship.
Dr. Faye, if I hear it right, my understanding is right. I would consider it also as strategy.
I lost. I could not
Ma'am
hear you, Ma'am Sil.
Cecile, your voice was lost, Ma'am Cecile.
Yeah. Yes. Come again, Ma'am Sil.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yes.
Okay. So, if I understand you correctly, I would also consider as part of your strategy, yes, you emphasize relationship. I think that's also your strategy
Yeah.
about dealing with them in terms of relationship. Relationships matter, and at the same time, having that kind of mindset that you are there to monitor as their ally because you wanted to bring out the best in them, and that would keep
Yes.
them more sustainable, even with your presence or not. So I really find
Yeah.
that I would say not many persons I personally encountered, Mom Joy, from the leadership position have this kind of mindset. And I could also attest with how Dr. Faye is received by the school heads in Butuan City. And hearing it directly from you now, this is a great opportunity to get to know you on a professional level as well. Because we're actually good friends, Mom Joy. But hearing it from this, it's just really really insightful, especially the way you cited it. Now, my other question is again out of curiosity on the monitoring side. So you have the triangulation, you validate, you go on field to check what's really going on. From your experiences, have you encountered like they have given you this report, but then in the field during your actual monitoring, it did not reflect the truth on their submitted report? So I'm curious. That's out of my
The same,
curiosity.
ma'am.
Yeah, I know it's
Yes.
not enough, right? But I'm just
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. It happened. Actually, it happened. And of course, you have to do it, gracefully. When it's not actually like the term. It's not a good term to use, confront. So, but you have to show the data, and then make the school head realize that there is a consistency between the actual happening, the actual scenario, and the data submitted. So yes, it's hard, huh? It's hard. It's hard to make them realize because you do not have to say that you are dishonest. It's not good like that. You have to directly say that to the school head. They will retaliate. They will feel demotivated. They will get angry or something, like they will feel bad against you if you will say, why are you submitting a wrong data, and then like that. You have to show that you have to bring the data that they submitted to you, of course, as evidence. This is the data that you submitted, and then look at the performance, or look at the real. You look at the school. You look at the real scenario of your school. This does not reflect with the data. This you look at. So you have to show. You have to be objective with that. You have to be objective, so that they will the school head will have to realize that it's really it there has there is inconsistency. So, labas muna ang subjectiveness, the subjectivity in there. Because you will have to make the school head realize that there is a inconsistency. Meaning, you have to show the data. And then you have to of course, go around and look at the school, the school environment, the school, the real what is the situation in the school. So you have to be objective in there for the school head to accept the reality na mali sila. But you do not have to say that, why is it you are submitting this? Because the school will feel bad. And sometimes they will be something like, they will, they will, what is that? They will make some other reason, something, ano ba, what's the term? Parang may denial. Parang may denial. They will have to blame other people. They do not accept that it's their command responsibility. They will have to push to other people. See, it's because of the parents. The parents have no, what is that? Have the lack support of the parents. The learners have no interest to learn. That should not be. The school head should feel the responsibility that it's the school head's responsibility to, to produce quality learners. And the school head has to do some more thing and then look at the data. The data submitted is not correct data as to comparing to the real scenario. So dapat objective. Objective in the sense that the school head will really see the comparison that there is inconsistency. And then it is after being objective with the data, with the actual situation, then coaching again will come in. So you do not have to go directly to coaching. Coaching. Pakita muna you have to show muna the real data and the actual situation. And then make sure before the coaching that the school had realized about the inconsistency. Then go coaching.
Agree 100%. Should be an acknowledgement. Again, a follow-up question to that. Sometimes we do things without intending to do it. So I'm also curious, from your actual experiences when there are inconsistencies, right, regarding the data and what is really going on in the field. There may be clashes on that or inconsistencies, or they're not just
Yeah.
mine. And just like what you have said, some are in denial. So I think that's again a personal choice for them. I'm also curious from your own investigation. I would use the word investigation, now, right? Referring to investigation. Um, are there chances like there's an inconsistency on the record in the actual field, not because maybe they intended to do so, but maybe they just don't know how. Were there
Yeah,
any situations like that?
there are reasons that they gave me actually when it happened. They would say it's the fault of the one encoding. Ayan. It's the fault of the one consolidating. It's the fault, ayan, ang dami. But kahit na, though there are lots of reasons that you can hear from the school heads, you have to make the school heads feel that it's still under the school head's responsibility. And what is the question again? Uh, other than what is that?
Could it,
What's the
could
question
it be
again?
could it be because they are not just skilled,
Yeah, intentional or not intentional.
or maybe just because of the skills itself? Maybe
Um,
just the
so far I did not find any school that it happened because of intentional. It's the are you because school heads are having lots of work to do, and then oftentimes they just let teachers or the in charge do some the consolidation, and they failed to check before submitting. And I know that they are not lying, and then I know that I can understand that they have lots of things to focus, to comply, to submit. central office are always asking for a submission of report to the to the regional office, and region to the division office, to district office, to the school. So that's it. I didn't find any actually intentional reason from among my school heads. It just so happened that they failed to correct the consolidated data submitted to my office by the school in charge. Yan. And
Okay.
they would always have to say sorry. And then again, coaching again, that hopefully it won't happen again and again. And of course, they promise that they have to consolidate, and have to check first the consolidated data made by the teacher in the school, the teacher who is in charge for that report before reaching to my office.
Thank you
That's
so
it.
much. Before I continue my questions, I would let Joy first to ask her own questions, and
Yeah.
then
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Ma'am Cecile.
Yeah.
And we are really learning a lot, Ma'am Pei. And
Mm.
earlier we talked about more on the evaluation of the school to this to the respective school heads and also to the teachers. How about for the district supervisor? Is there any feedbacking from the school heads and also to the teachers? Do they have some evaluation as well from the district supervisor, ma'am?
As of this time, evaluation, the yes, there was one time that there was a tool, there was a tool used or utilized by the division office that district supervisors will will be evaluated by the school head, and then school head evaluated by the teacher, and then of course vice versa, school head, the district supervisor evaluated. There's a tool that we answered. Okay naman. So I got high rating naman from my school heads because of the secret that I have a very good relationship from among them.
Yeah, I guess so. It's expected that you will really receive a high rating for that, ma'am. But how about for those district supervisor who got a very low rating from the respective school heads? Po?
I cannot really say something about that because I do not know their,
Mm.
I'm handling only is to one. We are 15. We are 15 all in all public schools district supervisors in the division of Butuan City. And then of course my focus is only is to one. So I don't really get, I don't compare myself to others. I don't compare the district that I am supervising to others. I always have to compare. We always have to compare our performance before and to this time, and what will be our ways forward. So our focus actually is to one, and I don't make comparison to other districts. So that's it.
So okay, thank you, ma'am. So therefore how about I'm just a little bit curious about the reports from the district supervisor. Where are you going to submit it, ma'am? Since the school heads submit the reports
Yeah,
directly to the district
yeah.
supervisor. Yes.
Yeah, actually. Yes, we have portals. We have portals. So in the Butuan City, we have portals. We have system. We created system. The division of Butuan City initiated to create system. So for especially that started during pandemic because the pandemic times you're not allowed to go to the office to submit hard copies, a lot of restriction. So that started the system, and then this time, this time the system has fully implemented. So we have in Butuan City, we have one Butuan, one Butuan, one portal. Yes, one Butuan, one portal. And then there is also a system under that one portal, one Butuan, one portal, a system for the CID curriculum, our office. It is in there that we will have to submit our data to that portal. We have system. And then we also have systems that is GOD aside from the CID, and then OSDS. DepEd office has three divisions like CID, SGOD, and then OSDS office. So all
those,
these three
I understand.
functional division.
Dr. Faye, I'm sorry, the all the initials for the sake of who will be viewing
Yeah,
our, what are they? The
yeah.
C-
CID is Curriculum Implementation Division. Then the SGOD is School Governance Office Division, and then OSDS is Office of the Schools Division Superintendent. So they are functioning. I hope I got it right, all the meaning. Sometimes because DepEd has lots of acronyms.
Her names.
It's not perfectly given the correct meaning. So I will admit that I have not memorized all the acronyms, but for sure it has to be like that. There are three functional divisions in the division office. The OSDS, it is where the superintendent is actually in that division. Although the division superintendent is managing everyone, but the office of the sports division superintendent is under that OSDS. And then the curriculum implementation division, that's the CID, that is all about curriculum. And then the governance, that is under the SGOD. So there are only three. So all these three divisions have their own system, that the data from the district, from the school will be, of course, submitted into the system. And then it is in the system that the division office has to harvest for the reporting to the regional office. Now, of course, the regional office has their own this system also for submission to the central office.
Yeah.
That's our new initiative.
There are a
That's
lot
our
of
new initiative.
process.
Yeah. Yeah, we have system. And, data, we need, it's really very hard without system in the division office, especially if the regional office will ask for data, and then there's no more time that you will have to call the district offices, give me this enrollment, the current enrollment, how many dropouts that we have, how many, like that, how many chairs, the needed chairs, how many tables that we have, how many books that we have, how many needed books, something like that. It's usually in there, in the system. So it's easy to harvest the data from the system. So from school to district, or sometimes schools diretso na sa division because of the system, and then they can just view the data submitted by the school, because in the system it will just automatically generate the consolidation, and then we can see there the performance of the school. So ours in the district office will just open the system. We'll just open the portal and we can see the data submitted by the school. And issues and concerns, actually sometimes, as I have said, the school heads failed to check the data inputted by the teacher, and it is in there, inconsistencies will be, will be,
All
what is that,
found.
will be seen by the division office, the district office, and then we will have to call again the school as to what happened, and then they will have to make corrections naman. And it's not actually intentional, because when you talking about the system, lots of numbers, so hirap ang teachers mag-input sa lots of numbers. So, of course, there are actually errors sometimes. There are actually errors that will be inputted. But we need to, that's why we need to check the data that they submitted. So, if we can find some inconsistency, we immediately have to call into the school heads for some corrections.
Joy, can
Okay,
I
so
follow up on that
yes,
question?
yeah, sure, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the process, right? Because this is about monitoring. So when you talk
Yeah.
about own system in one city, so and then you also mentioned teachers, possible errors in inputting or in
Yeah. Mm.
information, right? It could cause a lot of inconsistencies. So does it mean, if I picture it right, from the system that you're using right now, the portal, as you have said, so from the teacher to the school head to the supervisor, supervisor, is that how it works? So meaning teachers have access, according to the instruction of the principals, to encode into that system.
Yeah. Yeah, there is, all school have their designated LIS coordinator, like
LIS
that
means
IT, or for example the IT coordinator. Let's call it this way. All the reports be made by that certain teacher, and that teacher is designated by the school principal, and that teacher is handling a little number or few subjects only. So that teacher could really work as to the data that is being asked by the offices, the higher offices. So it's not all the teachers that could open actually. There is just one designated teacher who will manage to get all the data from the teachers in the school and then input in the system. And then that teacher, of course, those teachers are trained by the division planning coordinator. The division planning coordinator is the in charge of all the, of all the data that has to be collected from the school. Those teachers really underwent capacity building as to how the system works and how the system be operated.
Okay, so that's clear to me now how it works because
Yeah,
it is teachers. So, but teachers that are trained and
yeah.
okay. About how many reports does each school really submit in one school year? I know a lot of data are needed.
How about how many reports? Yes, Esmia is one. And putol. Your audio is not clear actually. Ma'am Sil, what was it
Yes.
again?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes, clear.
About how many reports are
How many
expected to be
reports?
submitted to your office from the school heads or principals in one school year?
In one school year,
Or
actually,
in a
Esmia
month,
is
maybe. We can break it down to in a month. I don't know what is easier, monthly.
quarterly.
Okay,
It's actually
quarterly.
quarterly.
Mhm.
Quarterly, yeah, quarterly. Ismia is one, and Ismia is just one name, but it has lots of data. Access, like in access is for enrollment. Quality, that's the performance, the academic performance of the learners. And the third one is governance. That calls
Mhm.
for the equipments, the facilities of the school. That is those are just samples under governance. So
I
it is
see.
all in there in the ISMIA. That and ISMIA is submitted quarterly from school. That's school monitoring and evaluation adjustment. Data are from school. So
Mhm.
as of this time, it won't actually pass to the district na, but it immediately be in system. It's just shared,
Mhm.
immediately be submitted or seen sa division office. We from the district, we will just only open the system and view the data submitted by our school and then make our own consolidation for our own consumption, for our own monitoring as to the time that we will have to visit to the school. We have something to show to the school that it is in there, the issues and concerns found in the data they submitted.
Right. It sounds like your platform is the main source of data for your
Yeah,
monitoring.
yeah. The ISMEA is very powerful tool that we are using nowadays in
So
Butuan City.
you mentioned, Dr. Fed, that this is an initiative of Butuan City, right? To have
Yeah,
this their
yeah.
own platform. Do you mind sharing with us what who this not really who designed it, but what specific platform are you using? Is it something that you hired someone to create and somebody
Yeah.
hosted it?
No, it's just made by the division expert, uh, led by the division planning focal person, the planning officer of our division. Um, she managed it,
So
the
it's a paid
system.
platform.
Not all actually, because the CID office have their own system, uh, system formulated by the office from the CID. So it's not the division planning, but the OSDS and SGOD systems from the planning officer. But the CID created their own under the
That's not
management of Dr. Abalos.
so. This is a paid platform.
No, it's free. It's free. And then this was even showed to us. There was last year showed to us as to corrections or suggestions, anything that we would like to ask about the system, mga precautionary measures about the privacy issues, like that. We discuss all the matters before fully implementing the system. And then there are already several divisions benchmarked this system in Butuan City. I have
It
learned
sounds
that.
right. It's really good. It again, this is my IT brain working here.
Yeah.
I wonder I wonder because of the amount of data that you are receiving right on the system. I wonder how much capacity it has and how long it can hold it for, in terms of years, in terms of sustainability. But you don't need to answer that. It's just my thought regarding the system,
Yeah,
because it is actually a great source, especially for the monitoring side. You get an outright data. You just have to log in and then search on it, right? So I hope it's going to be
yeah.
longer, and it will be
There
used
are
as well with the other divisions.
yeah, there of course we had lots of questions as to what if, what if. There are lots of what if. What if the planning officer will, I
Retire,
cannot really say
be
that
assigned,
like that.
right?
She's the
Or be
manager.
assigned to another one.
She's the administrator. So what if? But for as of this time, wala pa. So the division superintendent is making the assurance, and that won't happen. So
Right.
we relied on, of course, the leadership of our schools division superintendent. So as for now, I think several divisions already. I cannot really tell how many divisions, but not only one, but many divisions already came to benchmark the system.
Mhm. All right. I still have two questions, but I will ask Miss Joy to continue.
Yes, ma'am. I have only one last question in my
Uh,
mind because I
are
guess
we
all
almost
of
done?
our I
Yes.
guess some of the questions were answered in advance already, ma'am.
Agree,
Okay.
agree. Yeah, they're
So
actually
yeah,
awesome, right? It's already comprehensive. So that's why I said, like,
yeah.
I have two questions, but not on the list.
Yes, ma'am. So from the
All right.
following data, yeah, from the following data that is being submitted on the system, are the school heads and the teachers are being allowed, right? So how about in doing research? Is it the responsible for the district supervisor to encourage them, or it is on the higher position? Or
Yes, of course, everybody is encouraged to have their, to have their own research. Even us, we are being encouraged. Even the teachers, we have we have focal person when it comes to research in the division of Butuan City, and then the focal person is actually doing a lot of initiatives just for this research to be fully implemented, and then research kinatatakutan ng mga teachers yan.
that's true.
So when you talk about research, parang, huh? I'm busy. I have many things to do. I think I have to do other thing than research. So we have to make sure, to do something for the mindset of the teachers to love research. We have to make them learn to love research. Because if we cannot do that, we cannot force. It's not good use of that force, but we will inspire them. We will have to inspire them to make their research, action research. As simple as that, action research is enough. So it's actually progressing in that district, in my district. Why? Because before there were only two action researches submitted to the office, and then the most number was five. But this year, the last research congress, is one was the highest, and we received awards in the division office as the most number of action researches
Wow.
um, uh, presented during the research congress. And that I received a lot of awards. I think Ma'am Cecil was able to see it on my Facebook that I received a lot of trophies because of that research. So we're number one when it comes to the fine what is that, the presented researches during division research congress. So
Yeah.
we are actually improving. So we still encouraged for more, and then again and again the relationship that you have to maintain should be there, so that the school head will have to also inspire the teachers. So when you have good relationship with your school head, the school is also will do something more sa ila in their area to have also very good relationship from among their teachers. So when it comes to research, teachers are starting, or are not starting, but they are already loving to make research. So parami ng parami yung mga teachers making their action researches.
So still the key is having a good relationship. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Leadership is, influence, right? According to John Maxwell, leadership is influence. What is that? None other, no other thing that really leadership should make but to influence people. That's it.
thank you so much. I guess we are being influenced right now to have that positive outlook in doing research,
Yeah.
because that
All
is
right.
one of our big problem in our doctorate program.
Yes,
Because we have
yes.
to research that we need to
Yeah.
make.
And then, I have to, may I add something? We
Yes,
found
ma'am.
out that why is the teachers are hesitant, are skeptical when we talk about research? Why? They lack knowledge, how to make it. There's no question of making research, but somehow they lack knowledge of making the research. So it is in there that we conducted training, how to make action researches, and at the end of the training, of course, output will be made, and then they know already. So when I gave my messages during the trainings, I always have to have the 3H. Now, 3H, of course, the head. It is the knowledge that they need because they do not know or they lack knowledge. Some do not really know how to make action research. Some has the knowledge, but it's not really that deep. They know about research, but how to make a correct research, still they lack those knowledge. So it's all about the first edge, that's the head. So you have to make some significant inputs to the head about research. So if they know, they will start to love it. So that's the heart. That's the second edge. So first edge, that's the head. Competence. You have to develop the competence of the teachers in making research. And then later on, that will go down to the heart. And they will feel love. They will love in making research because they know already. That's already in their head. And then they feel it, oh, I love already research because I know how to make it. I know step one up to the last steps. And then the third edge is the hands. So automatically the hands will make the research because it started from the head, the competence, and the character, the heart, and then of course making and putting into action. That's the hand. So that's actually the techniques in something like inspiring teachers, in reminding teachers that when talking about research, it has to be 3H. Competence, that's the first H. That's the head. You need to learn how, why, how it is being done, what are the techniques, and then later on you will love it. That's the heart, and then your hands will move because you already have the head, the heart, and of course the hands, and the research will be done.
Thank you so much, Mom. At this time, no, we are really inspired, especially with that 3H. Now, I guess
Yeah,
it's very important for us as well, for inspiring doctorate students to have this 3H, to have that kind of knowledge, to love what we are learning for, and to do a special actions for that. So, thank you so much for that, Doc Faye. So, this time, may I give now the floor to Mom Cecilia for the remaining questions.
Yes, thank you so much. This is actually more than what we have hoped to receive from you, Dr. Faye. It's just like you
yeah,
have raised the bar even higher. And I think the ones who should benefit from this interview, it's not just our classmates and our, of course, whoever will be watching it, but I hope a lot more audience would be able to view this video. But of course, that would depend with your permission as well.
yeah.
how
It's,
how far you wanted us to share this once in a lifetime kind of video. Okay, so for my last two questions, okay. Of course, being a supervisor is not also an easy task to monitor, right? And also supervise, to take the lead, make decisions, and troubleshoot, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I wonder for supervisors like you, and for those who are also head of monitoring, not just in the Department of Education, but in any other type of supervising, what kind of support do you need? That's one. To for you to continue, giving your best and be on fire like the way you are right now. So,
support from where? From home. Support
right.
from
Yes.
support from home.
What would
Any
keep you
support?
going? Of course. What would keep you
Yeah.
going?
Yes, of course. First things first. ayan, of course, with the love from our Heavenly Father, the health that I'm enjoying, everything that I have, of course, but it's from heaven, our Father God. And my kids, my family, the support of my kids, really are doing a lot for me. And then loved ones, you know already about Mom Cecil, about our mga loved ones. And then also the support from my school heads. I oftentimes told my school heads the performance that I have, because I was awarded as the outstanding district supervisor last year. So I could not get that award without without the people behind me. So the school heads that I have in the district office are also responsive. They are so much responsive as to their works that really contributed to the performance that I have in the district. We oftentimes win in some contest, and the contest that organized by the division office. It's not about that I really force them to win, but it's really their choice to give their best and make the district office, of course, in the limelight. So that's it. So the family, of course, the inspiration that I have given by God. Uh, Yun, the friends. Okay, yeah. Then talking about friends, Ma'am Cecil is one of that in the list. The friends, the family, the school heads, the teachers in my district that they also are doing well. The office staff, they're always, we have to consider. You have to consider everyone in your organization as significant one. Even though they have different roles in your district, but they do a lot of something contribution in the success, the achievement that the district office is having. It's just like a battle. It's just like a battle. Uweng, paliw puweng, naglobat na akong laptop. So it's like this. May I share this? May I share this? This is actually also one of the stories. Weng Weng. Weng. Uh, I often also I oftentimes share this something like a story, not really a story, but a metaphor, an object that I can share. Why do we need everyone's support for our achievement to achieve, of course? Even though mga guards, even though utilities, even though drivers, everybody has lots of support that they are giving to you as part of the success that you have. It's just like a bottle. It's just a bottle. It's a jar. Okay, let's talk about a jar. And then a big jar. Your target is that you have to fill the jar of different kinds of rocks without any space to be left. Okay, that's your goal. And how are you going to do that? There are many rocks, big, small, medium. So how are you going to do that? So when you put the biggest rock, the average, the medium rock to the jar, still there are spaces. But you can imagine a jar. You put different types of rocks, big, small, medium, average size of rocks, but still there are spaces. So what are those spaces meant to us? The spaces are still needing some type of rocks to make it full, to have it no space be left. So what kinds of rocks that it has to be placed in there? It's not the biggest rocks, it's not the next in size, but it has to have the smallest, like the fine sand. The smallest sand that you have to fill in the rocks so that there will be no space be seen or be left. So big rocks, different kinds of rocks, plus the small fine sand. The fine sand that you have to add. Those are the utilities. Those are everyone that really are around you. It's not that school heads only. It's not that the superintendent only. It's not about the assistant superintendent only, but everybody, even the drivers of the tricycad who is giving you, who is like that, sending you the water container for your mineral water, that counts. Even though the store, or the, what is that, the lady who is selling some food for your lunch, that counts. They are the fine sign. Even the security guards, even the cleaners, even the utilities in the school, they are considered as the fine sand that will make the bottle full. So everybody counts, regardless of their position. They are my supporters. I consider them significant.
That's a very nice story. I would call that the parable of the jar. I'm sure Mom Joy and myself will never forget that. So you have given us the bonuses today, the 3H, right?
Yeah,
Plus the parable of the jar. Okay, so here we go for the final question. For those who are not familiar with the DepEd system in terms of career path, right? So as a
yeah.
supervisor, what is next? What is next to Dr. Finn?
What is next? So, I don't close myself with promotions, actually, but I don't ask promotion. Promotion is given, not asked. You just perform, pray to God, what's for you. And what is given to you, for sure that's from God. Now, ever since I did not ask for promotion, I just work without counting for something in return. I just work hard, work smarter, and then of course the relationship matters again. And I did not really think for promotion. So if that's given to me, I don't also close my mind, close myself with promotions, because if that's given, since I'm not asking for it, then I have to consider it a calling that I have to serve um, with all my might, my might, with everything, with my best, and without counting in return. If I am promoted, then I have to be thankful, and I have to do something that to show that the promotion given to me is, of course, worthwhile for me, and I deserve that.
All right. Thank you so much. I We have went beyond our agreed time, but thank you so much indeed.
Yeah.
Any last words or message that you would like to impart to us and to our viewers on
Yeah.
this video?
Yes. This is what I would like to emphasize that in the Department of Education, in the Department of Education, talking about best practices, it's not only about systems. It's not about it's not about um, the figure that you can what is you can flaunt to the people that you have very good performance as shown in the indicators. But for me, there are two things that I can consider when it comes to best practices. But the first one there is the intangible one. Okay? Those systems, those data, those wins, those awards are tangible ones. The systems that we have. But behind to that are the intangible ones, meaning the commitment that I have, the commitment that you have, the love for work, the dedication, and the willingness to serve people. The willingness. And you have to consider it a calling. The character that you have, the love. You know, when you love your work, work is not work, but it's just merely an enjoyment. So intangible is above the the tangible practice, because the tangible best practices are just but product of the intangible best practices. So that's the first one. And then the second will just come after the first one. So it's not about how intelligent you are making the software, making the program, making the system, the number of awards that you receive, the recognition that you have received, but it is actually the love for work, the dedication, the commitment, the your inner self, the everything that you have, the values that you have, the character that you have, the attitude that you have. It is not one of the things, but it is the only thing. And then everything will flow after the intangible best practice that we have. You might be asking me, what is your best practice? I have to look into the intangible ones. That is the most important. And then the tangible best practice will just come along after the intangible. And then, yun, love your work. That is considered under intangible best practice. Because as I have said, with love, everything goes well. With love, quality performance is there. With love, you will not get old. You will not be stressed with love. Just love your work. You will not get sick. You will not complain. You will just smile. You will just always think positive because there is love. So, love is under intangible best practice, and that is the one that I have. So, love, love. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you
Fe.
so
That's
much,
really
ma'am.
wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. May I request my co-host here to give us a wrap up from our over an hour interview with Dr. Fe?
Yes, ma'am. Here to wrap up everything, thank you so much, Doc Faye. It was been a great opportunity for us to have you here to be interviewed and to be inspired from all your expertise as a district supervisor. We do hope that we can still meet you in the future and to invite you for some future conferences and to continue to inspire others as you lead many school heads and even us, even if we just met for at this period of time, but we learned a lot from you. We are very inspired, especially to apply that kind of 3H and for emphasizing the purpose of love. So thank you so much, Doc Faye, and to my partner, Mom Cecilia, for inviting Doc Faye, and we are very blessed enough to have you, ma'am. So thank you so much for this wonderful and comprehensive interview.
Thank you, Ma'am Joy. In fact, I'd like to add, to be a successful supervisor, apart from the skills, of course, you have to have that intellect, right? You have to have that intellect, you have to have the skills. But at the end of the day, your personality and values as a person would also count a lot to make your monitoring and supervising and even management a successful one. So I would say, in short, your IQ, your EQ, and even your CQ. What are they? Your intelligence, as what you do in your profession right now, your emotional intelligence in understanding the people you're dealing with, and the way you handle and cope with the challenges. And of course, also your cultural quotient, that's the CQ, because we have different values as an individual in terms of work and even with our personal choices in life, right? Even our communication preferences. So for Dr. Fe, she is a model, I would say, for those kinds of intelligences that we need, the IQ, CQ, AQ. Thank you so much for being a model to all of us. And to our viewers of this video, we really hope that you have learned a lot. So be sure you watch this video from the beginning until the end. And of course, this video will not be completed without the valuable presence of who? Our beloved guest. And that is really Dr. Fe and Puspus. And Dr. Fe, you just don't know how grateful we are with your time with us. So please, I hope we could have you more in the coming days, right? And in case somebody would like to ask if they could contact you, would that be all right? Can we
Yes,
share
sure. Yes,
your
sure.
email address probably?
Yes,
What
yes,
is
yes,
your
yes, ma'am.
preference?
I'm happy. I'm happy actually to help other people, other educators.
All right. So, on behalf of our Education 301, I'm their Dr. Kaingpoy and my partner, Miss Joy Mosquiter. We really wanted to thank you so much for influencing our minds as a leader, right? Not just on the monitoring as part of our topic for this specific requirement in the project, right? But for sharing your expertise with us. That's really, really awesome. It's so profound that there's no one word that could describe how well you have answered our questions and even our bonus questions. We pray that the Lord will bless you more. You will be duplicated. There will be more Dr. Faye and Puspus out there, especially for public schools where they need good leaders like you. So thank you so much, and God bless you. And I'm looking forward to meet you in person. So thank you,
Thank you.
Dr. Faye, to just say and finish this interview with a warm round of applause, a virtual clap for Dr. Faye Puspus.
Thank you so much.
During the
Thank
interview.
you.
It's such a great honor to have with us Dr. Pepos was, right? So for
Yes.
our viewers right now, this is like a post-interview reaction. So go ahead, Mom Joy, your thoughts?
Yes, ma'am. So thank you so much. We've learned and realized a lot from Dr. Faye. So as a future leader and aspiring leader for a certain school, so it's good. The first point that she has emphasized with us is to implement a learner-centered curriculum and to ensure that we implement that effectively and to have that annual monitoring for its progress. And there was a word by yes, but the word curriculum was being emphasized as the Bible in the school. So therefore, as a school leader, it's very important to have that kind of quality monitoring. And one of the word there of Mount Pay is ESMIA. Okay, that is one of their monitoring tool, which means school monitoring, evaluation, adjustment. So from that SMEA, they could have all the data. And what's important there is the consistency from the report and to the respective school. And of course, to test the integrity of the school heads at the same time. Then aside from that, whenever there is some problem, the school head, I mean the district supervisor will not directly go to the teacher but to the school head. So there will be a protocol to be followed. So from the school head, so they will report what's the concern, and of course the district supervisor will not just simply believe in one side, but to talk as well with the stakeholders, even to have the consultation from the teachers and even to the parents to address that particular problem. And aside from that, one of the term there of Pay is instead of mentoring, but help your teachers to be coached in terms of what are the things that they need to improve for their leadership in that particular school. And aside from that, the key there is to have the 3H, the one that is being highlighted earlier. The 3H first means the head, wherein you have learned from the things, from the competencies that you have as a teacher. It's very important to have that kind of deep learning. You'll not just simply stop from that particular idea, but you'll have a deep learning. Then from that deep learning, you need to love knowing and you need to love learning. At the same time, you need to love what is your job, even the task. Even if you want to improve yourself in terms of your professional development, you need to love that one. And upon loving that particular area, you will do the action, because without the action, it will just be useless. So, and the last one that is being emphasized by Doc Faye is that just to continue and never stop learning and be the kind of model in yourself, be a good leader. And one of the key is to have a good relationship. And I hope all the school leaders, the school heads, even the teachers might promote good relationship, because as what Doc Faye said, that is one of her key to success. It's not about the promotion that you will gain, but it's about the good relationship that you can get from your co-employees in the school. So that's all from what I have reflect from Dr. Faye's earlier's interview. Thank you so much, Ma'am Cecilia. I guess you can add some more of that reflection.
That's right. That's right. In addition to what you have already mentioned, what else can we remember if we are the ones in charge for monitoring is verifying your data, and how to do that triangulation was mentioned, isn't it? Right. So it means to say it's not just one person. Let's say there's one school head, but you really even have to check the stakeholders. Probably even if you have to visit some teachers to that extent and also observe the students. That's how I understood that. Just to make sure the data submitted to them are really valid. And of course, one of the best achievement for that Butuan City division in that ed is setting an effective and efficient system, a platform that she mentioned, where school heads are allowed to upload their data. Not really allowed, but they're required required to upload their data for easy monitoring and easy access for supervisors like Dr. Fei in gathering the data. And also, I like how she pointed out the possibilities of error, especially, of course, principals and school heads. They have a wide array of responsibilities. So they also have this trained teachers slash administrators who help them encode or input, and even the skills of the encoder would matter a lot in terms of the data that they will be receiving. So monitoring is one, and then, of course, validation of data is another. Now, the third one is the actual action. What would you do? How would you do it? And what would you do if there are some inconsistencies? And as what you have emphasized on your reflection, Dr. Fay actually mentioned about. I'm sorry. I hope you cannot hear that. Can you hear some noise? All right. Okay, okay, okay. I'll just continue. Dr. Fay emphasized the need to have that interpersonal skills, right? It's about communication. How would you communicate your findings? How would you communicate the problems to the leaders themselves on a school base? And how she gave us real case studies, right, from her experiences. I thought that's really, really notable and worthwhile. Your interpersonal skills matter. That's why you said like relationships, right? And that relationship is directly connected to her mindset about the 3H and the parable of the jar that she talked about. It really reflected her values. I would say it's more about servant leadership. She's on the field and
True.
she's willing to take extra miles, because the fact that she kept on using the word coaching, right, for the school leaders directly. How did she help the school heads, right, after monitoring about the feedback giving? So what is next in that monitoring? Of course, the results should follow, right? So for that result, when it is out there and ready, she is also ready to coach. And it can also be connected with mentoring, I would say. Because for coaches, let's say the coach principals or school heads, once they are equipped, then they would know how to mentor their teachers. But from the top view position, supervisor coaching another leader under her supervision, like Dr. Fay, then I think that would be an effective system to have a good implementation of the curriculum, which is the Bible of the Department of Education teachers, right, in the classroom. And from that, only if, right, there are also more Dr. Fay in the Philippines, we can assure that there will be a quality education to our every classroom, from basic education even up to the higher education. So
I
those
agree
are my
with that.
sentiments with that. Yes. I really enjoyed talking to her, and I've learned a lot from her as well. Any other thoughts or reaction, Mom Joy, or any message to our viewer on this video?
Yeah, so with that kind of reflection for the both of us, Mom Cecilia, so we are blessed enough. And
Mm.
yes, we really hope that to have that kind of character like Doc Faye for all the leaders, and having that kind of character, nothing would be impossible. Our educational system in the Philippines would be greatly improved. So for all our viewers, I hope you would be inspired and you will really listen carefully in every details of this interview, because rest assured that you would really learn a lot and you would be inspired as well as a person, even in your professional field. So thank you so much for listening to this video. I hope you will learn and you would be inspired as well like us.
Go ahead, play this video from the beginning. Don't miss the middle sections because there are some case studies and real scenarios that were presented with us by Dr. Fei. And of course, we would like to extend our gratitude to our classmates who took part in this course Output 6, right? The reporters like Ma'am Lizelle, Ma'am Jenny, and also Ma'am Raquel, right? They took the lead in presenting this topic. And that was through the supervision of our professor, Dr. Manuel Caincoy. So, sir, thank you so much for allowing us to really interview someone who is on the field. And this is a learning in practice, right? So we
Yeah.
really have a better understanding of our course because of the real person on the field that we have interviewed. So thank you so much, Dr. Caincoy. This is from Education 301 of Bukidnon State University. I am Cecilia Estoque, and you have.
Ma'am Joy Mosquiter.
So thank you so much and have a good day. God bless you all. Bye bye.
Bye bye, everyone.